thinks we're not human, because being human is defined as having a human body. Most of the time, we don't have a human body. It's as if it's like saying that we're Spaniards because we spend most of our time visiting Spain on vacation. We're really not humans, which begs the question of what are we then really? And how to conceptualize our nature and our essence as disembodied beings.
That's a good question, and it raises the question for me is there such a thing as human consciousness? Or is it simply consciousness impressed by our human bodily experience? I don't know.
Say more about that. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, is there some quality of being human that goes beyond the physical body? Or is our consciousness simply impressed by the particular physical form that we happen to inhabit? Would our experience be different if, say, we were, if we found ourselves in a dog or, a giraffe or some other organism? I think it certainly would be. But I'm also curious, do different organisms have different types of consciousness? Maybe different flavors of consciousness? I don't know.
It seems to make sense that they would, because the biological wiring for consciousness has to be compatible with it.
Yeah.
And so each species is capable of consciousness.
Of a particular kind.
Of a particular kind, but would have to have the ability set up hardwired in it to be conscious, or at least to express that kind of consciousness.
Right. And yet that type of consciousness may be fluid enough to change and grow and morph over time, and maybe even assume other forms of consciousness. I think about traditional shamans or healers who can leave their body and take on the forms of animals or other beings. So there must be some fluidity consciousness that can take place. We've also talked about this before. So it makes me wonder, what is the fluidity of the death state compared to our human-shaped consciousness in the earthly life? And I don't know. I mean, from near-death reports, it sounds like there's some sense of relief or release. Almost like people have reported feeling like they're being put back in prison when they come back from a near-death state. There's such a sense of expansiveness for freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The predominant view among, I would say the majority of those who believe in death after death is that the body is designed to slow things down, make things obscure, make things difficult, to make things move at a pace where we can handle them more easily.
So you see the body as a filter in that sense, a filter for a larger, more expansive experience?
A circuit breaker, actually. If it absorbs too much energy, it just blows.
Oh,
So it steps down the energy on a much higher plane, from a much greater intensity to a much lower intensity.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that, of humans being, a bridge or transducer for, higher energy and lower earthly energy.
Yet the body having that function in particular.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a particular capacity of the body to transmute energy from higher to lower, and maybe lower to higher.
Right. Well, one theory, E.J. Gold's theory, is the human biological machine as a transformation apparatus. That is, the human biological machine is a magnetic electric phenomenon whose purpose it is to transform the electrical soul, which has an electric nature as well.
Uh-huh.
So the body is a transformation apparatus which is designed to implement changes in the soul through generated through magnetic electric energies.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. And if it's electric and magnetic energies, then it should be measurable in the laboratory.
It should be. You'd think.
Yeah.
But you would also think that would have been discovered by now if it was really true.
Yeah, you would think so. Unless people aren't looking at the right frequencies or, well, there's claims about curling photography and stuff like that, but it's still unclear. But it sounds like we can assume that at the very least that there will be new potential energies and capacities after the death experience that we can only have hints of during the living experience, the living with the body experience, you can put it that way.
Right.
And maybe dreams can give us hints of some of those capacities, maybe a small taste of them. You know, particularly maybe psychic or spiritual dreams, which sort of point towards the higher capacities of the human.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we talked about a couple of things that might be different in the dream state and in the death state. The dream state, I think, is the way it is. It's primarily a visual. Actually, that's not really true. It's both. Dream state has both strong visual and symbolic or like I had a dream the other night about driving over the hill
Uh-huh.
on Highway 17, and the message that I got was that I was over the hill, so to speak.
Huh.
And that message was conveyed to me not so much visually, but through the auditory mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
It means the dream is using probably older phylogenetically visual language as well as more recent auditory language and related to language processing.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
and that probably is a function of the body. So it's possible that the being after the death state is sort of a ramped up, super um, super super powerful
Uh-huh.
vehicle for perception that can spin itself out of control very quickly because it is so powerful.
Right.
So maybe some of the functioning of the astral body, lower physical and emotional bodies, are to continue to prevent the soul from spinning itself out of control with all the inputs that it potentially has at its behest.
Sure. Now, do you think the death state contains the same level of symbolic consciousness that the dream state does?
I don't think so. I think symbolic consciousness is a product of our language and our phylogenetic history.
Yeah.
I don't think that we speak English in the afterlife. I think all